made it past his first test this year with the odd object workout. Did great, finished great, but last year in the final event, it was a handstand push-up movement that made him drop below Ben Smith. Ben Smith was able to overcome.
Now finally Josh Bridges, and he's a guy who currently sits in 6th place overall, trying to work his way back up, and this event could give him an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, he's only 18 points out. We saw how well Christian did. He's going to do great in this event.
The final heat of the Separator. And everyone's chasing Matt Fraser. To put things in perspective of how far ahead Matt Fraser is at this point, he could take dead last in this event. Ben Smith could take first, and Matt Fraser would walk into the next event with a 38-point lead.
Look at the short range of motion on Matt Fraser in the white shirt. Fast. Look how fast he's going through there. Whereas Ben Smith is really pulling his arms into bending. Look how much he's bending. Way more range of motion for Ben Smith. He's doing way more work, and look how fast he was going.
And Bridges has got a pretty good pace going as well, as he's your leader. 12 ring handstand push-ups to kick this thing off. Bridges is done, and he'll move to the barbell for 15 back squats at 225 pounds. Bridges a crowd favorite. The fans letting him know that they appreciate seeing him here on the floor at the Tennis Stadium, the StubHub Center. Matt Fraser is done as well, and he is on to his 15 back squats at 225 pounds, and he is now your leader. And you saw Matt Fraser getting ready before the event, and the look on his face was almost angry.
He's in the mode, and he needs to be in the mode. He needs to stay in the mode, not just to get that lead that he has. I mean, he's got a gigantic lead on the field, which is great, but he has to attack. What I think is awesome for Matt right now is the fact that he is back into the lifting program. Ben Bergeron has him lifting again, which wasn't happening last year. So these weights are going to be no big deal for him at all. And we saw how well he handled the rings. This is going to be a good one. And I think this is where he starts to put some distance between himself and Ben.
Matt Fraser, Josh Bridges fighting for the top spot. Ben Smith still on the rings.
All eyes were on Matt Fraser to see if he could do those ring handstand push-ups. I think that as soon as he came down there, he looked like a lion licking his chops. He took a look over at Josh Bridges, and I'm not going to say that it was a cocky smile, but it was a very, very confident smile as he picked up that barbell. I'm afraid to see how well Matt Fraser's going to do here.
Matt Fraser's your leader. Ben Smith is still on the rings. He has 5 reps to go. Ben Smith has got to finish ahead of Matt Fraser if he wants to cut into the lead. It's that simple. If he doesn't, Matt Fraser's going to extend what is right now a 138-point lead, and we're not even into the final day or the final event of Saturday.
Yeah, I was assuming that Ben was going to do a little bit better. It's just a matter of knowing how that feel is going to be, knowing what the standard is going to be, and how your judge is going to judge you.
Matt Fraser, 5 to go. Josh Bridges and he are trading the lead right now in this 4th and final heat. The time to beat belongs to Cole Sager, 12 minutes, 3.14 seconds. He did that in the prior heat. And now Josh Bridges is done, and he's going to choose to strip the barbell. He's got to get it down to 205 pounds for the next squat movement. That's front squats, but first, 9 ring handstand push-ups, and Matt Fraser choosing to do the same thing. And this is where it pays to go last, because you learn a lot of little tricks from the guys before you.
If they were able to see that. Now they're all stuck off in the back somewhere, so I'm not really sure if they were able to see that. But what I'm more happy about for Josh and Matt is Josh is going to push the tempo for Matt Fraser, which Matt needs. It'll keep him in that competitive mindset. And Josh Bridges needs a very good score in this event because he wants to break into that top 3. He wants to get back on the podium. So what better person to have pushing you than someone like Matt Fraser?
And Josh Bridges hasn't been on the podium since his rookie year in 2011 when he finished 2nd to Rich Froning. It's the start of Rich Froning's historic run of winning 4 straight CrossFit Games. But the good news for Bridges, who's on the right of your screen, is that he's well ahead of the men he's chasing. Ben Smith, Patrick Vellner, Alex Anderson, and Brent Fikowski all sit ahead of him on the overall leaderboard. And Matt Fraser just got hit with a no rep. Ben Smith, who's in that army green shirt just past out of frame on the left, he's still on his first set. That's Ben Smith, no rep, because he used those legs, but once again, we've seen guys do that to just get themselves into position.
There we go. That was a good movement by him. Not coming down too far, just coming down enough to where you need to make the rings touch. No sense going real deep.
Ben Smith is done, and he'll move to the barbell. Matt Fraser just got hit with another no rep. And now he's found his rhythm. Another no rep for Matt Fraser, and Josh Bridges is pulling farther ahead here.
And I don't know why that was a no rep, Sean. His knees stayed locked out. His feet slid up, you know, with the head judges we're talking about. And he had his arms locked. But again, it's a judge call.
Josh Bridges back to the barbell, 205 pounds on that thing, and he's got to do 18 front squats and then another 20 bar-facing burpees. Josh Bridges right into it. 141 total reps in this event. 71 is going to get you past the halfway point. And now Matt Fraser is trying to get himself inverted. Another no rep. But into position. No rep again for Matt Fraser. 1 to go.
So what Matt needs to do is that when he gets his arms locked out is to bring his hips back. That will push his feet up without bending his knees. The judges are looking for those feet to move up and down, and that's all he needs to do.
Matt Fraser back to the barbell and putting more distance between himself and the man immediately behind him in the overall standings. That's Ben Smith. Fraser had a 138-point lead coming into this event over Ben Smith. Bridges on the far right of your screen in the blue shorts. He is your leader in this heat. He's through 68 now, 69 reps. Patrick Velder sits in third place overall. This kid is a former gymnast and an individual rookie here at the CrossFit Games.
Obviously, he's got some gymnastic skills. You can see him driving, but I think one of the things that would have helped him out is if he would have used like a longer legging or some taller socks so he's not having that skin on strap friction.
Josh Bridges is on to his second set of 20 bar-facing burpees, then back to the rings for a final time. He'll have to complete 6 reps there. And Josh, right now, is about 15 seconds ahead of Cole Sager's pace. Sager, the time to beat in the upper left-hand portion of your screen. Matt Fraser continues to sit in second place in this heat. Fraser has the bar down, moves it forward. He'll get to work on his 20 bar-facing burpees. I know while Fraser wants to win this event, he's probably more focused on just keeping the guys immediately behind him in the standings in his rearview mirror in this event. Ben Smith just got hit with a no rep on one of the burpees, but now he's stripping his bar. Behind Matt Fraser, he's in that army green shirt. Bjorn Gudmundsson, 10th overall coming into this event with 4 top 10 finishes, has moved himself into third place behind Bridges and Fraser. Josh Bridges just about done with his second set of 20 bar-facing burpees, and now he will strip it down to 185 pounds on the barbell because he has to perform 21 overhead squats. Matt Fraser in second place, now 8 reps behind Bridges, but Bridges will be the first man back to the rings for the final time. He's got 6 reps to complete on those ring handstand push-ups. Now Fraser struggled on his last set.
And you saw Fraser shaking his arms out. The burpees are starting to be compounded with those ring handstand push-ups, and I think that's where, with Matt getting those no reps, he's doing some extra ones. Josh isn't having an issue at all.
Bridges came in 6th place overall. 18 points back of Patrick Velder for third place.
Matt Fraser, it has been cool as a cucumber in a bowl of hot sauce this entire competition, but I just saw him lose his cool a little bit, and he's had some heated words with Adrian Bosman. Apparently the judge saying he's not straightening his legs. Matt said, I did straighten my legs, and Bos let him know that the person with the lower heart rate is usually more trustworthy, but keep an eye on his legs assisting him in the movement.
Bridges, meanwhile, on the right of your screen, is chipping away at his 6 final ring handstand push-ups as Matt Fraser will work his way back. So Josh Bridges will remain in the lead here by a good margin over Matt Fraser. But the bottom line for Matt Fraser is he's going to pile on more points and extend his lead over Ben Smith and the rest of the field here. Patrick Velder is in third place in this heat and third place overall. Velder is 176 points back of Matt Fraser for the overall lead. Bridges has himself inverted again. A no rep for him. Now pay attention to Matt Fraser, who was warned about his legs by head judge Adrian Bosman. No rep there for Fraser. Another no rep.
The legs are straight. The legs are straight.
Fraser's 3 reps back of Josh Bridges, who still has yet to close out his final set. The time to beat, upper left-hand portion of your screen, belongs to Cole Sager, 12:03.14 seconds. And it looks like Sager's going to get himself 100 points and rocket up the leaderboard yet again. Remember, after 2 events, he was sitting dead last. Matt Fraser on the left, though, is your overall leader. Josh Bridges on the right, 6th place overall. Bridges leads in this heat. 141 reps to go, and now he gets hit with a no rep. So 140 reps total in this event. And Josh Bridges is trying to get to the 100 mark. And Matt Fraser is now creeping up.
So what's happening with both of these guys is they are getting very tired with all of these extra reps that they're having to do. They need to make sure that they can compose themselves and not jump up there too early, just with the frustration. But they need to do the push-up the same way they're doing, but then push their hips forward to get their feet to move. The judges are looking for the feet to slide up and down that strap, to keep those knees straight, and to be locked out. If they can get through all 3 of those things, they should be able to make those reps count.
Patrick Velder has a shot at catching both Matt Fraser and Josh Bridges. Velder's on the left in the yellow shirt. And now Fraser gets hit with another no rep, and he clearly disagrees with what his judge is saying, shakes his head to watch back to the wall to just collect his thoughts. Now Velder continues to rack up good reps. Josh Bridges has closed out his set. But Bridges is not going to win this event. That's going to go to Cole Sager. So 100 points to Cole Sager, as Matt Fraser is clearly frustrated about these ring handstand push-ups. But the good news for him right now is he is still ahead of Ben Smith, the man who sits in 2nd place. And now Fraser is done, and Fraser ahead of Patrick Velder, who sits in 3rd place overall. Josh Bridges on the left of your screen with a barbell on his back, 21 overhead squats at 185 pounds.
You know, a great job by Matt Fraser being able to staying in the game, not getting too frustrated, and just trying to get those things out of the way. That was what he needed to do. He didn't just throw it and get too crazy, even though, I mean, you could just tell the frustration he was having with the judge.
141 total reps in this event as Matt Fraser starts his 21 overhead squats at 185 pounds. Josh Bridges has the barbell down. Fraser's 5, now 4 reps behind him. Bridges with 30 reps to go before he closes out his event, and Fraser looks like he's going to catch him.
Oh, yeah. That's what I want to... He is attacking. That's the Matt Fraser that he needs to keep that all the way through here. That's okay. That's all right that he dropped the bar. The thing is that he's in the attack mindset. He's not playing defensive. He's playing offensive. That's where Matt needs to stay.
Josh Bridges is turning on the barbell. Fraser's going to the chalk. Now Bridges will probably regain the lead here. And now it's Josh Bridges in front. And Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson, meanwhile, on the right of your screen, is back on the barbell, and he's threatening to jump in the fight here. Josh Bridges trying to hold off Matt Fraser. Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson trying to put on the pressure on the top 2. And Matt Fraser is going to stay on the barbell, and now the lead changes once again as Matt Fraser has 20 bar-facing burpees to go.
Wow.
There goes Matt Fraser on those bar-facing burpees. Not going to win the event, but he's going to widen his overall lead. That was already 138 points.
This is a confidence setup for Matt Fraser. You're right, Sean. He's not going to win the event, but that doesn't matter. The fact is he got himself behind, and he fought through the rest of the group to get himself back up into the lead. And look at him just crush these burpees.
And Matt Fraser knows now that Josh Bridges is onto this movement. Bridges isn't going to slow down. Fraser's through 10. He's got 10 to go. Josh Bridges is going to finish 2nd in this heat if Matt Fraser does not stop. Earlier in the day, Matt Fraser passed a big test with the rope. Tonight, Matt Fraser walks into the house that Josh Bridges usually owns, and Matt Fraser is going to continue his dominance here in the 2016 Reebok CrossFit Games.
Nice job.
Matt Fraser once again continues to be the unstoppable force. Bjorn Gudmundsson is trying to chase down Josh Bridges. Bridges gets across the finish line. He'll finish
nice job.
Second in his heat. That's good for 7th in the event. So Fraser was 4th. Fraser is going to have a gigantic lead over the men behind him. And I don't know if there's such thing as a mercy rule at the CrossFit Games.
Wow. Yeah.
But Matt Fraser is well on his way towards standing atop the podium. 30 seconds to go before we hit the time cap. Cole Sager's going to win the event. Bjorn Gudmundsson just trying to get inside that 60-minute time cap. Matt Fraser's going to enjoy some water in the fact that he's going to have an even bigger lead heading into whatever awaits these men here in the tennis stadium tonight. 3 to go for Gudmundsson. This one's going to be close. And Bjorn Gudmundsson sneaks in. 40 men went through the separator and only 10 got through the entire thing. No one did it faster than Cole Sager. Kristen Lucero will finish second, followed by Ben Stoneberg. Matt Fraser, yet another top 5 finish. And a ton of points go to him as he widens his lead.
Man, I just have to wipe the sweat off my brow watching these two guys battle. This battle between Josh Bridges and Matt Fraser was so amazing. Both of them, short range of motion, very powerful athletes, but they both, towards the end, because they're battling each other so much, they were getting those no reps. And how they handled those no reps and how they battled themselves back into it was just so impressive. Josh, super fast. He jumped out into the lead in the beginning. Matt caught him. Josh jumped back out there again. But that look between Matt, there it is. Look at that. Oh, I see you over there, buddy. I see you.
And give Matt Fraser credit because he, for the first time in this competition, struggled.
He did struggle, but it wasn't necessarily the struggle with the movement. It was the struggling with the judging, with the call. And that's one of the things with sports is you're always going to have that human subjectivity, and you got to play to your judge. If your judge says lower, you got to go lower. If he says your legs aren't straight, you got to try to get your legs more straight. And Matt did that. Yes, he was pissed, but he hung in there and did exactly what he needed to do, which those burpees, he put it down. Got to hand it to him. That was an impressive job in that heat.
Matt Fraser widens his lead, and he's with Sam Farber.
Matt, the separator was aptly named. Only 10 of the 40 athletes able to complete it in the ring handstand push-ups. Certainly the toughest part. What was the key to getting through that exercise for you?
Keeping a cool head. I mean, I think we were all getting a lot of no reps. So it's just break it up in smaller sets and keep your movement solid.
Now, you know you have one more event, you just don't know what it is. What do you think Dave Castro has in mind for you guys?
I try not to guess. Waste of time.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Well, overall standings over 9 events, Matt Fraser has a 180-point lead on Ben Smith, and that's pretty appropriate because it's going to have to take a total 180 by Matt Fraser to get him out of first place.
Yeah, the rest of the field, they got a long ways to go if they want to catch Matt. But this last event, no one knows what it is. All of these athletes know that it's the last event today. What's Dave going to throw at him?
Patrick Vellner, meanwhile, sits in 3rd place still, and Josh Bridges moves all the way up to 4th. Matt Fraser continues his march towards the top of the podium. One event remains, though, and we'll have it for you. Stay with us